I bet you weren't expecting me to make another ROMhack video so soon, but another ROMhack called out to me shortly after playing Into Bowser's Castle, aka it was in the same list where I saw Bowser's Castle, and it's called Despair Mario's Gambit 64. The name alone is fascinating. First of all, I don't know who or what a Despair Mario is, although I'm gonna assume it's a Mario OC that I've never heard of before. And secondly, I've never heard the word Gambit used in the context of a Mario hack, or really ever, to be honest. So the title alone is a mystery, and I figured I should probably get to the bottom of these age-old questions, because I like closure, and I despise unanswered questions. And on the other hand, I've been somewhat neglectful of my duties as a ROMhack sampler guy. Yeah, I'm not really a critic, so to speak. I'm more of an alcoholic or something, I don't know. But I also need something else to play while I procrastinate on my actual important priorities. So in any case, without further delay, today we'll be covering the audacious tale of Despair Mario's Gambit 64. Now, Despair Mario's Gambit 64 is a full-sized ROM hack that introduces a brand new adventure for Mario, who is now feeling despair over something that I still haven't fully figured out yet. The story of Despair Mario's Gambit is that Mono Bowser is holding the world hostage, forcing the citizens to start killing each other, and is spreading his despair stars all over the place. I guess Stereo Bowser was sick this week and he couldn't make it. Weak immune system, you know, it's rough. Anyway, it's up to Mario to stop Mono Bowser and recollect the Despair Stars to free this world and its people. It is worth noting that this plot synopsis comes with a qualifier telling us that this is a ROM hack and is therefore not the place to get lost in a good story, to which I say Banjo Dreamy has an excellent story because the main antagonist is a toilet. So ROM hacks can have good stories as long as you believe in yourself. But anyways, TLDR, Bowser is a penis man and it's up to you to stop him. Despair Mario doesn't innovate with Mario 64's fundamentals very much at all, but as usual, the level design is what it's all about. From the standpoint of level design, there is a lot of variety here, including some ideas that fly out of left field. One of my favorite places is this level based on Geometry Dash. I read that wrong, but you know what I meant. I used to play Geometry Dash on my phone all the time when I was taking public transit back when I used to go outside 300 years ago, so I guess you could say this is a little bit nostalgic. And it is a pretty fun level, although perhaps a little too much like Geometry Dash sometimes. There's this small town with a bunch of buildings, which are kinda like their own mini levels. There's a church with little purple crucifixes all over the place with red coins on them, and a gigantic eyeball inside of a red pentagram. I'm not a Bible expert, but I'm betting this is a sin in at least one way or another. There's a gambling level with a big stadium and a ginormous audience full of assorted Weebus characters. Then I fell through the floor or something and had to exit and re-enter. There's a depressing, lonely city with giant skyscrapers and nobody there. Bowser level's a fucking dickhead. Mushroom Place is pretty cool. Beach level, stupid lava level, quicksand level where I died almost instantly. This game has it all. There's a comical element of self-awareness to this hack that is not super uncommon for ROM hacks, but it's always nice to see anyway. This toad tells you to Google where the invisible cap switch is. Signs where the creator is just talking shit about themselves. There's a movie theater showing the new straight-to-DVD Disney film. There's occasionally funny dialogue, and the game pulls out a lot of funny pranks on the player by putting stupid quicksand everywhere, by which I mean like 3-ish levels, but as I said before, I would honestly be fine if all ROM hacks just deleted it entirely. Actually, if they just deleted difficulty altogether, that'd be great. I'm still recovering from Elden Bitch. The fire giant was designed by war criminals, and honestly, I hate him almost as much as I hate insta-kill quicksand. Thankfully, the presentation is not as bad as either of those things. In fact, you could almost say that it's good. This isn't a massive overhaul of the original game, but it's definitely an improvement. Visually, Despair Mario is distinctive with areas that look very unique to what you'd expect from the vanilla game, like the yellow tint of fall or black fog enveloping distant areas. The levels are really fun to play, and the graphics are marginally better than the original game, which looks like shit, so that's not saying much, but what I really came to appreciate in this game is the music. It's pretty par for the course for a ROM hack to take music from other games and translate it into the base game's sound font, but what makes this game stand out is the specific music selections. I've heard a lot of songs in this hack that I've either not heard very often or at all in other ROM hacks, including at least one song from Kirby and a number of songs that I am almost certain are from a Toho game, even though I've still never played any of those. But whenever I hear a fast-paced song in a Mario 64 ROM hack that I don't recognize, I assume it's from Toho. Much like Into Bowser's Castle, I feel like it would have been nice to include some quality of life improvements, chiefly the ability to keep going in the level once you collect a star, especially in the latter half of the game. Insta-kill quicksand is annoying enough, but what I hate even more than that is this funky mechanic that ROM hackers really love, where they give you a metal cap and say, okay, jump into this lava wall to launch Mario in a very specific way to weasel through holes, and if you miscalculate slightly, you'll run out of the metal cap time and just die in a fire. I love ROM hacks, but this? I do not like this. That being said, it does have infinite lives, although 1-ups can be found all over the place anyway, which tells me there used to be limited 1-ups until they patched it out, which is a pretty baller move in my book. Good stuff. All things considered, this is a very consistent ROM hack that offers a lot of challenge, if not a lot of frustration. The tail end of the game is difficult in a way that's not always entirely fun, but at the same time, it's also a lot more reasonable than many ROM hacks I played in my time. The wonkier parts feel more like the exception and not the rule, and that's definitely how I prefer ROM hacks to be. Every level is distinct from each other instead of just being a disjointed mess of platforming soup. It's got a sense of humor, the presentation is good, and it's just a bang-up job altogether. I'd come up with a lot of other descriptors for it to keep this going even longer, but full disclosure, I ran out of ideas, so I can't really do that. Speaking of keeping things going longer, I did actually consider starting to stick big-ass end slates at the end of every video, taking inspiration from Nakey Jakey, the king of long end cards, and the real king of long end cards, Yuri of Wind. I still might start doing that one of these days, but I'm tired right now, so I'm not gonna. So the thesis of this video is basically that Despair Mario's Gambit is a good ROM hack, and in general, playing good games is advisable. Therefore, you should play it. Hopefully I remember to link the release video in the description. If I didn't, feel free to yell at me for that, but otherwise, thanks for dropping by, and I'll see you in half a week when I decide to make a video on the Sonic movie or something. I don't know.